Good morning and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I'm Razzle11 and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Here to take a look at pitching for today, the 5th of August. It is Wednesday and we do have 15 games to look at today. The early slate for both sites is a 4-gamer, so we'll kind of touch on that quickly. FanDuel decided to have an 11-game main slate while DraftKings split it up in a 4-game turbo slate and a 7-game main slate this evening. So, because of that, we'll try to touch on every game on the slate. A reminder that this is a first look at the pitching options on the slate, and I will be looking at DraftKings as that is where a majority of my action is. If you play in FanDuel, cut my pool in half or so. Pricing isn't quite as tight. You don't have to be as creative. It allows you to get stacks you want with an upper tier-ish pitcher. Now, after all that fun stuff, let's just jump right in. 15 games, got to get through them. Let's take a look at what we got going on today. Early slate, you get Toronto and Houston. You get Tyon making his debut. Maybe Toronto can figure him out, but yeah, he's given up 14 home runs over his last 7 starts. A 5-homer game here, coming off of 5 home runs allowed over his last 2. Just a home run issue going on for Tyon. Probably not ideal against Yordan Alvarez. His one start against Houston this season was rough. Yeah, I just spent a lot more time on Jameson Tyon than I thought I ever would because he's just not in play. Now we get Hunter Brown. He's weaker at home, walks a few more guys, etc. Toronto just doesn't strike out a whole lot, but it is a 4-gamer. So what do? I think we just play him. His second start back, he faced this team, threw a lot of pitches early and often, only went 3 innings. Average about 3 fantasy points per inning, just less, 2.7 per inning. He goes 6 innings. That's probably decent enough on the slate. 2 starts ago, he looked back. Last one, not terrible. I'm going to play him just because, obviously, the slate calls for the need to play a pitcher, or 2. But overall, it's just ugly, so we just have to play Hunter Brown. Dodgers and Cubs, Imanaga, wind blowing out in Wrigley, no thank you. He's been pretty good the last 3 starts, but still, he struggled with the Dodgers first time he faced them. He's given up a lot more home runs at home this season. Just a pretty easy stay away from me, I believe, on this slate. Eric Lauer, same ballpark. Kind of same issues. 20 home runs allowed in 88 innings. Could be a home run fest in Wrigley. San Francisco and Texas. You get Wizenhunt making a start. I was looking through some numbers this morning, and Texas at home against left-handed pitching, I think, has the highest WRC plus on the season, which blew my mind, like the second highest ISO. Yeah, I just probably can't play Wizenhunt. Bradford, coming back from the 60-day IL after he missed all of last season. Hit a setback as well. 4 rehab starts, so he's not going to be overly extended. 56 pitches in his last outing. Going to be pretty limited. The Giants can obviously struggle, but we just probably can't pay Bradford. But I don't know, maybe 4-game slate, we need pitchers, right? Like, I really only wanted to play Hunter Brown, and even then, it's not an ideal matchup. Coors game as well, like, we're probably going to play Nick Martinez, but it feels bad. He's coming off a game where he gave up 4 home runs. He had just 11 prior to that. His numbers on the road have been phenomenal, but this is also Coors. It's probably a rough spot. Maybe Shigano has to be in play. That feels gross. But, like, he's been better at home than on the road this season. It just feels bad. Like, I don't want to really play him against Tampa Bay, who doesn't strike out all that much either. So, It's really a rough 4-game slate for pitching, to be honest. Switching over to this turbo slate and then the first 4 games that are on FanDuel. LA Baltimore, the top 2 teams in all of baseball in terms of K rate against left-handed pitching, both happen to take on left-handed pitchers. Reed Detmers a little worse on the road, nothing extreme, so it's not something that I feel like we have to avoid. Home run allowed rate on the road just 1/9. Baltimore can hit home runs, but they also obviously strike out a lot at home. I love Reed Detmers, so I'm going to be playing him. Trevor Rogers on the other side, coming off of a rougher start, but again, the Angels strike out a ton, and they've also gotten worse offensively. Trading away Ohapi, Adele, DFAing Soler. Not sure if I'm missing anybody else, but overall, lineup has gotten much weaker. Tough to not want to play some Trevor Rogers, even though he's been worse at home as well. But, a lot of his numbers are kind of dictated by this really bad stretch during the season as well. So, 2 of my favorite pitchers on this slate, and then 2 of the guys that I would love playing on FanDuel tonight. The A's and the Reds. The Reds struggle a lot with strikeouts against left-handed pitching. So Jacob Lopez, is he back in our lives? Maybe. Won me some money last season. Slowly getting stretched out up to 97 pitches. The last 2 starts have been really good. 3 starts ago was pretty solid in 4 1/3. So I like the recent trends. Now Cincinnati does offer a bunch of ISO against left-handed pitching, but strikeouts are a big thing. So I am gladly going to play some Jacob Lopez today. Rhett Lauder, I'm not sure I'm going to get there. He's been pretty good the last couple starts. Just overall, just not a ton of upside. I think there's some upside in this matchup, but I just don't know if there's enough K upside for me to like on this slate, especially for the FanDuel side of things. Mets and Cleveland, I think both pitchers are very much in play in this one. Tanner Bybee, I'm just going to play him. His underlying numbers at home are stronger. He's given up too many home runs at home, which shouldn't necessarily happen. I don't know where his Ks have gone this season either, but still, I do think he's somebody I want to play a little bit of. I do expect some strikeouts to come back at some point. The Mets aren't a guaranteed strikeout matchup by any means, though. Christian Scott, definitely a bunch of upside. And Cleveland did add some more Ks in Joe Adele. They did kind of get rid of some Ks by sending Manzardo down and then replacing him with Nathaniel Lowe. But I still think it's a decent spot for Scott. He's a little bit volatile, of course. A lot of these young arms can definitely walk too many dudes. But his numbers on the road have been absolutely phenomenal. Doesn't really give up many home runs. One every almost 10 innings. And plus Cleveland just doesn't hit home runs. So to me, Christian Scott makes a ton of sense. Washington, Philadelphia, I have zero interest in either pitcher. If Jake Irvin was left-handed, I'd be more interested. I just don't think I'm going to get there. Looked pretty rough in his first start back. No real strikeout upside. There is strikeout upside in this matchup, I guess, but I'm just not getting there. Andrew Painter, his return from the minors looked pretty decent. He's had some, flashes. Like his best major league start came against this Washington squad in his debut. But still, the Washington lineup is weak enough, obviously, after trading Luis Garcia Jr. and then James Wood going on the IL. So if you really wanted to be creative, I guess you could probably sprinkle in some Andrew Painter on DK. I just wouldn't use him on FanDuel. About 5.5 minutes left to get through these 7 games on the main slate of DK. St. Louis, New York Yankees. I am tempted to play some Will Warren coming off of what I assume is his best start of the season. Third best start of the season. He actually has 3 30-plus fantasy point starts. St. Louis just doesn't scare me overall. He's actually been better when pitching at home, which is a bit surprising, even though his home run rate skyrockets. His K rate jumps up extremely. So I'm going to play some Will Warren. Payante is not going to interest me, even though 2 starts ago he looked absolutely phenomenal. There is some K upside for him, even though he's not a big K guy. As you see, most of his starts are 2, 3, 4, and then just random 8. I don't think I'm getting there on the 7-gamer. White Sox and Boston, great hitting environment, but I think we have two pitchers that are very much in play, especially Sonny Gray. His recent starts have been so-so. His last two haven't been all that good. I get the White Sox are a dangerous opponent, but still, they've been striking out plenty. His overall home number is pretty solid. It's just he has a couple less wins, and that's kind of destroying his per game average. Sean Burke's been phenomenal. Boston's been pretty hot offensively, but Sean Burke has double-digit strikeouts in each of his last 2, 3 of his last 5, 9+ in 4 out of his last 5. I think there's just a ton of upside, so I want to play some Sean Burke in case people are chasing Boston's performance yesterday. Miami, Atlanta, Yuri Perez, somebody that I always play. It's a dangerous spot. Atlanta got to him the first time he faced him. But his numbers on the road are pretty excellent from an underlying standpoint. So I am going to play some Yuri Perez, completely understanding that Atlanta could get to him. Bryce Elder, I think I am going to play. He did dominate Miami earlier this season. He's been best at home, which is where he's at tonight. It just doesn't feel great to want to rely on Bryce Elder. Minnesota KC, Dean Kramer making his debut. I'm going to play the wait-and-see approach with Dean Kramer and see how he goes with Minnesota. Joe Ryan looked pretty rough last night. Noah Cameron, back-to-back elite starts. His last start did come against Minnesota, which is a bit of a worry, but still, Minnesota's been pretty bad against left-handed pitching, especially on the road. 3 starts, averaging 27 fantasy points per start against Minnesota. Just been excellent against them this season, so Noah Cameron, somebody I definitely want to be overexposed to. Pitt and the Milwaukee Brewers, you get Paul Skeens. Too bad we don't get it against Mizorowski. Skeens has been really up and down. A start a month ago against Milwaukee at home was pretty solid, and so I'm going to use him just because it is Paul Skeens. But he might be somebody that you look to go underweight on. He did dominate Milwaukee earlier this season as well, but he hasn't been really the same pitcher. Did have 18 strikeouts over his last 9 1/3, so that's some positive trends. So maybe we could get a big Skeens performance, but he has given up 10 earned runs in his last 9 1/3. On the other side, you get Kyle Harrison. The Pittsburgh Pirates lead baseball in strikeouts against left-handed pitching on the road. Obviously, some weird splits, but they strike out a ton away from home, especially against left-handed pitching. Kyle Harrison absolutely dominated them for a 40 spot earlier this season. He's been far better when at home. Now, he did throw 5 2/3 in his one rehab start, so I think we should be all right. I don't know how many pitches that came with, so I'm going to have to look into that. It looks like 68 pitches, so we could see him around 80. Milwaukee is notorious for obviously taking it easy. San Diego, Arizona, probably going to pass on both guys. I want to see how Mize performs with San Diego, but I don't really love the matchup against Arizona. Detroit, Seattle, Ty Madden on one side as the projected long reliever, maybe, but he's just not stretched out all that much. Brian Wu is somebody that I will be utilizing. He's looked pretty rough over his last 4 starts. 3 of those 4 came on the road, which is the one thing standing out. His best one in those 4 came at home. His home road splits is really the reason. Just a massively different pitcher at home. So I'm just playing those splits. I think there's strikeout upside. There's a dangerous lineup for Detroit, but there's strikeout upside for Wu, so I am going to be on the Brian Wu train this evening. But there we have it. There's our first look at all the pitching for today. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc., there is a link in the description below. You can use promo code BOOK, BOOK, for 20% off any package on the website. There will be a link to the merch store down below. Check that out. Check out my hoodie, some of the other designs. Hit my comments. Let me know. Are you jumping on Brian Wu with those home road splits? What are you doing with somebody like Paul Skeens tonight taking on the Brewers? And as always, best of luck, everybody.